important part. Anyway, let me stop getting sidetracked. But yeah, so essentially, for those of you who missed it, Pinflesh is stepping down. He is going to be a community member moving forward. He's got a family that he's got to deal with. Life's been really kind of rough for him recently, from what I've heard. And he's been super busy, and so he's been kind of dealing with that and hasn't had the time for Underpeel, which totally understandable. We always say put your life first, your real life first. So we're gonna be moving forward without him. He's gonna be kind of stepping down and like full time stepping down and handing over the keys to basically a board of directors now, which the board is me, Tired, Sharkbait, and Sanguine. Obviously, y'all both know Sharkbait and Sharkbait and Tired. Yeah, board of directors. A dorb of directors. You know Tired and Sharkbait. But if you don't know Sanguine, if you could link that notice again for me, Rotus. They introduced themselves a couple days ago. Who is Tired? I still don't know how to say that, by the way. I feel like I should probably learn how to say it. It's like, but I don't want to. At this point, I don't want to butcher it. There you go. Thank you. See, I have my speaker. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to refer to you as. Zon got it wrong. Oh, you got a flames on. You got a flames on.
Right. Oh, whatever. Fine.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that much. Anyway, that's not. Thank you, Riz. That's not the important part. But yeah, that's kind of them introducing themselves. If you haven't talked to them before, they're gonna try to be a lot more active in the community going forward, so that you can kind of meet them. But yeah, that's gonna be the board going forward, making the decisions for Underpeel. But we also are going to be trying to kind of bring y'all into that discussion, because there's been a lot of talks, not just recently, but for even season 4, of it feeling like there's not enough. He's not his match. His match starts in like 15 minutes. But it feels like there wasn't enough community involvement, and so obviously we're trying our best right now to kind of yeah, I can't believe he passed away. To kind of figure out how to work along with you and be able to make these decisions. We want to obviously keep y'all in the loop and keep y'all as much in the decision as possible, but sometimes there are decisions that just we have to make. We don't have the choice. They just have to be made. So sometimes you might not be happy with the decisions. It's gonna happen. Also, I'm gonna whoops. Let me redrop the links that people haven't seen. So mascot form being the first one, we're gonna be trying to find a new mascot. That's the mascot form. And if you haven't already seen it, we're gonna have notes right now. It's also in the announcement. I probably should have just linked the announcement, but it's fine. I could pin the links. It's also just in the announcement that I made like 5 minutes ago. There's no wait. Shark bait. You misspelled neutral. You can't make this stuff up. All right. That's okay. Anyway, look. This is why we have ghostwriters that read Sharkbait's work. Look at the bottom. What's at least one response per row? Wait, why does it do that if you put one response per row? Oh, vertical row. Not column row. That's pretty good. I want to know who's 60. Wait. Before we move on, I want to bring that up, Potato. I was talking to Sharkbait about that, and he was like, yeah, I gotta find out if there's any 65-plus-year-olds. And I was like, dude, there's no one who's 65 plus. I'm not 65. I'm not even like the oldest person on staff. I don't know why I'm being called Unk. That's crazy. I'm not past 25. Sharkbait, if you make me that Unk roll, I'm marking you for death. All right. Yes, sorry. My bad. I too much ADHD. All right. But yeah. So we're gonna be starting on going over the form. For those of you who haven't seen, a couple days ago, I marked that form. Where is it? There it is. The in-house form. Basically talking about what do we want to see from in-houses going forward. And so we're gonna start. If you want to just pull up the form, let me link it. Give me 1 second. If you haven't seen it already, we got a really good amount of responses, honestly. That's not the right link. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops. Ignore that. That was the wrong thing. Let's try that again. There it is. All right. Anyway, that's the form. If you want to read it, kind of go along with it. Let me get it pulled up real quick. Yeah, yeah. Thank you everyone who ended up responding to it. There was a lot of responses. What are we at? 43 people responded. Yeah, Zon was a yapper in it. All right, so we're gonna start at the. How long have you been playing? So obviously that's the first question. We had 27 people playing from the beginning, which is crazy. I love to see that people have been playing for a while. We started back in like late August, I want to say, something like that. And we're still getting a decent amount of in-houses. I think we just hit like 400 recently, something like that. Are we past that? I actually don't know what number we're at. Yeah, we're close. We're close to 400. We're 374. As honestly, it's been great. Was it September? Beginning of in-houses in Underbill. I guess to be fair, it was the same thing. It was the exact same thing, Rez. It was beginning of in-houses and beginning of the Underbill server. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I was also in that first game. But yeah, y'all have been around for a while. And that kind of that was mostly just to kind of gauge the responses and like how much experience do you have in those in-houses of like, are you answering this because it's your first in-house, or are you answering this because you've been playing since the beginning? So it's nice to see that a lot of the veterans, 60% of them, kind of responded to this. Anyway, so for the experience, we had a 3.91 rating out of 5, which isn't as good as I want it to be. I want it to be over 4, but I think for like this being our first. Where sweat and houses be signed up for time slot. Yeah, that was something that was talked about, and we'll get to that when we get to the suggestions, Rafi. I did see that a lot. Anyway, yeah, we had a 3.9 rating, which, like I said, isn't what I want. I would like a lot better, but I think for it being, the first time before we've kind of made any changes, like just full flat out, that's not terrible. The player experience was a little worse. It was 3.74 or 76, which issues that's up. Yeah, I think he means before matches. But I think like part of a lot of the issues that people were kind of saying is that a lot of us weren't on the same page. And so that rating could go up if we were on the same page. Because 21 people responded 4. Hi. 21 people responded 4. So like it wasn't a matter of people necessarily hating each other. I think it was just a matter of people will get into games and they're not on the same page for what that type of game is. And that was a lot of the dialogue, was that we were having these discussions after games about what it was supposed to be, instead of having the discussions before games about what we were going to be doing. So we want to kind of try and have those discussions before games. So one of the implements that we were looking at was a question. So we would have the question of what kind of game are you wanting to play? And we had this in another in-house server that I was in, and honestly it worked really well. We never had complaints about someone sweating and someone trolling. Like, it would happen occasionally, but it wasn't a matter of like people were mad at the fact that no one knew that they were going to be hard sweating and winning that game, like trying their very best, like it's ranked, versus someone who was just messing around. You had that kind of idea before the match. So it was more of someone getting mad at that individual person over getting mad at the match itself. Right. Speaking of that same thing, is the kind of experience people are looking. So when we see I play in in-houses to experience the game in a very coordinated and competitive manner, that actually wasn't the most picked. It was only at 60%, which obviously this was a multi-choice. So 60% of people chose that one. The biggest one was enjoying playing in-houses for fun, which was at 73%, which I think is really great. I want people to be having fun and playing for fun. And so I do like that's at the top. But I don't want to fully discount the playing with or against troll comps, because there was a 40% on that. It's not the majority, but it is enough that like I think having the question of can I use like a five stack duelist. That was like the most predominant one I saw brought up was playing against a 5 stack duelist. It can be boring, but like if you know beforehand that that is something that players can do in that game, that would be something that you understand is going to potentially happen. Um, and so that's something you can kind of look at and be like, okay, do I want to play this game against 5 stack duelist? And you can make that decision before you play the game. So potentially adding an option of here is the type of game I want to play. If I don't want to play in this game, do we want to give players the option of stepping out and seeing if someone wants to sub in? Because if you're being forced into a 5 stack game, you're not going to want to play. That's the biggest thing, is you're not going to want to play. So trying to have something that allows you to let some players do the games that they want to play while not forcing people to doing it. Yeah. Having fun isn't trolling 100%. I agree. How will that'll work to have a backout option? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's something that would have to be heavily discussed because making sure people aren't backing out because of another player being in there. But yeah, I think it may be something that we try. We split that. What do you mean if we split that? No. This wouldn't be splitting queues, Rose. This is not splitting queues. This is when you queue into a game. You know when you have to decide on the matches. Oh, you're talking about those. I'm talking about when you're queuing into a game. There will be a question along with the map, what map we want to play, and whether or not we're choosing. Once it's popped, yes, correct. It will be a question of, do you want to play a heavy sweat game like I'm playing a scrim in an Underpeel scrim, or are we playing just a vibe? Like, am I just gonna walk in and not like I'm trying like 95%. Like I'm not putting a full 100% in, but I'm still there. I'm still playing to win, but I'm not going to get a towel and taking a shower after that match. And then some of the other question or answers people put was a space to learn and try new agents without any risk of possibly doing a bit worse, which I think would kind of go into the vibing category. I think that would kind of go in the same place. Yeah, I probably would never put 100 into an in-house either, but there are some people who do, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not some people's way to enjoy it. Games WK and playing half trolling without calming and trying to. I mean, if they're not calming, that's already an issue of we have in the rules to deal with. um. Anyway, let me finish through these answers. So another one was I enjoy rouletting sometimes, but things like $5 on the other side are not fun to me. And that's fair. I think that would come into the option of me being able to back out of a. I don't want to say troll because I don't really think $5 is a troll comp. I just think it's not a good comp. Like I wouldn't consider you trolling because you're playing $5 personally. Triple negative. What would a troll comp be? Um, Honestly, I'm not even sure. I think it would be something like maybe it would maybe $5 would be considered a troll comp. Honestly, I don't really see anything as a troll comp. I think it's just because it's a bad one. Um, yeah, it's more of like uh me playing Phoenix would be considered troll. Like everyone playing a role that they know they're really bad at. it gets too subjective. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like part of the thing is like, what do we even consider troll, like as a comp? But that's not the point here. Sierra isn't about the playstyle right now. It's about the comps because people are specifically complaining about troll comps. That's fair. You sign up for specific roles. So how would no? There were not there. The only example given was a $5. Yeah, I like so my problem with that, Rafi, is specifically the fact like we run into the issue of do I limit you to essentially an Overwatch style of you can only sign up and play in this specific role? Because that sounds really stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm very against Overwatch style queuing. Yeah, we also just don't have enough people. The play style, you got that on the farm. Yeah, well, no, we could do it. It's not that hard, Zon. I think there's no truck on. You do run. Yeah, so like that's the thing as well. Thing is that I was thinking was it, it is kind of like troll. I can see it being a troll comp, but it's also stuff you run into in comp. Like I see enough games of $5 people posting them in comp that it's hard to like say that an agent a comp is troll. No, I agree. I know we do play in houses to escape the bad parts of comp. Um, that's fine. Want to play silent comp? So yeah. All right. I don't want to get stuck on this too long, because I do want to get all through all this and then start bringing people up. But essentially, it seems like we can come up with an idea of what would be considered troll comps. Um, it's a matter of personal opinion. Um, it's hard to kind of put everything on. It got announced yesterday in notices. The if you go look, Bluefy. Yeah, no one will. Yeah, I agree. And that's the problem is like I don't want to stick here and spend another 20 minutes talking about it when no one's gonna come to a consensus regardless. So like, how do I make a rule based on something that people won't come to a consensus anyway? Like, where do I draw the line on a comp? Anyway, I'm gonna keep going so we can get through this. Going to the next one. If we added a question before queues to ask players, so this was me talking about the question that I was talking about. What kind of experience would you like, or what kind of experience they would like to play in that queue? Would you be willing to follow the decision? Which we had 72% of people, or 71, excuse me, 71% of people say yes. We had a bunch of people like give say yes and then add on to it, so I don't actually know the full number. But we only had what 6 people say no out of 43. So I think we're gonna probably go forward with that because if it's 6 versus 37, respectfully, I'm gonna go with majority. So I think that's pretty much decided on of adding this question, which will be added after this weekend. This is the question of before a queue asking players what kind of game they want to play. That's the last one, the one we're on right now. Excuse me. That is something we can try, Amok. I hope I did not butcher your name. I don't know how well it will work. Meaning before entering queue. After pop, pregame. So okay, so essentially pop it will be like this. Queue pop. Clear. Yeah. If it's voted for heavy sweat, if I'm sick, I'm not sweating. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I think that's gonna be part of like we either have to allow you to be able to back out if you want to. God damn it, fuck off. Back out if you want to, which I don't know how much I love that idea, but we can try it. I would be okay with trying it. We can figure out whether or not that would work. I don't want to cancel my people's game because I don't want to sweat. Yeah, but isn't back just splitting the queue into two? Yeah. The problem I have is that if we try to enforce it, how do I enforce it? Okay, no. Sorry, it's not. It's not like I don't mean like. How would I know what to do? Like, how would I know like get information about people doing it? It's a matter of what do I do about it? Are we banning people from in houses? Like, what would be what would we do to get them to do it? Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a difference between sweating and being an asshole. If you're being an asshole, you should be mod mailed, regardless. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%, Chess. Yeah, hmm. I agree, but right now, seeing we're bleeding, we're losing players playing in houses more than we're gaining players playing. So while I do agree that getting people in is very important, having players to play it in the first place is much more important. Can't you pick certain times of the day to dub them for trying? So, but that's just another. That's just like that's splitting the queue, essentially. That's the thing I'm worried about is splitting the queue. I'm trying to not split the queue. Okay. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. Next was the weekly in-house events. So, give me Rafi. We only have like an hour. I need to finish this and we will come back to it. I promise we will come back to it. Right. Weekly in-house events. This is going to be something that is not controversial at all. I hope not, at the very least. I would like to bring this back. So we were talking about potentially Sunday being an option. So we would have Friday and Saturday. We would have Friday and Saturday to play in Underpeel, and then Sunday would be our in-house day. We can choose other days as well. We can have specific days be specific events, so we can have a night for low elo in-houses. We can have a night for high elo in-houses. We can have a night for full open. We can have a night where we play stuff like Skog. It really depends on when y'all want it. So I'm going to put out... I'm not doing it right now. I haven't made the form. I'm going to put out a form to find what times would be good for players to be involved in these events. I did put in the form a thing for like what time would work. I haven't read through it, but yes, trust me, high elo in houses has been a big conversation. That's something I will also have to talk about is how it works. Would there be a specific in-house queue for this, or would this override the normal queue? No, there would be a specific. I would make in a tab or a chat called event queue, and we will let anyone who wants to come in and queue into that, as long as they fit in the rules for that night. I'm not gonna. All right, see ya, potato. I'm not going to like create rules with a bot because that'd be just way too much. We'll vet people as we go. Like if you fit in the rules, like if you have the right role. So if I see like a plat join, I will just kick him from queue. And this would be on stream, by the way. These would be streamed events, not just like them happening. Give me 1 second. How's everyone's Saturday? My Saturdays are going pretty well. We got streaming in an hour. Okay. Last one was recommendations. There were a lot. Y'all have a lot of thoughts. I think like general consensus that we came to across these thoughts is a lot of what y'all are obviously talking about right now. I think the ideas will be implementing that question into queue. I don't think I don't know. We'll talk about trying out being able to leave a queue, but I think right now we try and see if people will be okay with following whatever the comm is from the group. And if it ends up not working, we'll move the question. But I've seen it work in the past. It seemed to work. I mean, Rafi, you were there. You, Darius, everyone else. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. There were a few kind of rough games, but it seemed to work for the most part. Everyone was on the same page at the very least. I'm gonna try to stay away from special queues, Jinx. We had the same conversation of trying to not split. Yeah, I think there can be 1 day a week for sweat queues. I think that would be fun. I think if you come to me and you say, hey, I want this specific time as a sweat queue, I will go in and make an event tab for it. I am fine with that. It is not that big of a deal. It does not. It takes me 5 seconds. And y'all can come together and figure out what time works best for you. It seems to be, that people want something. Yes, we can have polls. What'd you say? What, event tabs? One thing about more heavily. Yes, yeah. The sweat queues would be much heavier moderated. Correct. That's, to be fair, that is also what Monmail is. CRS. That is also what Monmail is about. Is about allowing people to do it. Yeah, people love polls. People love giving their opinion. All right. So now that I've kind of gotten through the forum and I've at least like Yeah, people really need to mod mail more. Like, people complain a lot about people and then don't mod mail and like expect us to do stuff, and I can't do anything about it if I don't know. So I got a DM. You have to tell me. You have to provide proof and stuff. All right. If anyone would like, there's someone we don't. Yeah, yeah. I'm aware. But here's the thing. If you put in a mod mail and you say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I had a bad experience with this person," we can make notes about it. And if 6 people come to me and say they had the same bad experience about one person, we can look into it. Versus if you never tell me and you just write it into a in-house chat, how the hell am I supposed to know? Like, yes, I do want proof that it's happening, but the fact that you're at least telling us is a lot better than you not saying anything and expecting us to just fix it. No, I don't go around randomly reading every message and DMing people about them. That is a great idea. I'm gonna start definitely doing that. All right. But yeah, if anyone wants to come up and talk, now is the time. Please raise your hand. If you don't know how to, go to the arena chat, like the where you can see my little cat, and there's an option to request to join stage. Yes, agreed. Tired. That's fine. If you don't record it, just tell me. Literally put in a mod mail and say, "Hey, this happened. This happened." And if it happens 4 to 5 times, I'm going to look at it a lot further than if you just DM me and go, "Oh, I'm complaining about Sing because Sing's an asshole." Not. I love you, Sing, but I'm just kidding. But like, it's a lot easier. What's disabled? Oh, my bad. Sorry. Let me do it. Give me 1 second. Let me fix it. How do I enable it? Oh, I have to allow send messages, maybe? Give me 1 second. Let me figure out how. Request to speak. Why is it denied? Uh. Huh? I can't turn it on. Okay, whatever. Let me know if you want to move up. Just put a message in chat. If you want to move up, just I will send you a request to move up. You want to move up? All right. Invite to speak. We're gonna do this one at a time. I would like to give people their chance to talk.
You don't have the setting to allow requests from
No, no,
everyone.
no, no, no. It's literally turned off. Like, I can't turn it on.
Uh, oh, I can turn it on.
No,
There.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh?
I just
Wait,
turned it on.
what?
It won't let me. It won't let me.
Someone raise their hand.
What? What?
What?
Wait.
Yeah, see, there we go.
What the
Okay, I
f-
turned it on.
Okay.
Whatever. It's
All
fine.
right.
It's
All
fine.
right.
It's fine.
All right. Thank you,
Discord
Zon.
is a free
Thank you,
program.
Zon.
Discord is a free program.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
So like, I'm just like free to speak however I feel.
Yep.
Um.
I will give you like 60 seconds so we can get through everyone.
Okay. So I think just the biggest thing for me, or that I've seen, is kind of just like either people who like are really tryharding, or higher rated players going at each other, or like similarly minded people, because like they want to win really badly. That's where like the biggest conflicts that I've seen are. So like people like will start tilting heavily, usually like Ascendant Plus, maybe some even Diamond Plus players, and they'll start like yelling at each other sometimes. I mean, it's not all the time, but I just feel like that's been some of the biggest reason why a couple in-houses I've played in just haven't been fun. So it's mainly just like people tilting and higher rateds taking things too seriously, yelling at each other.
If someone is, I would like to add, if someone is berating you in an in-house, please make a mod mail about it. I hear, okay, this is a very common sentiment I hear against amongst low elo players, is that they keep getting berated by in-house like high elo players, but I haven't heard who. Like, is it the same people? Is it all the high elo players? Like, I can't do anything about it if like you just say high elo players. You want me to just start banning immortals? Like, I need to know who's doing it so I can go and talk to them and be like, hey, they have felt like you have been berating them because they're a low elo player, and we can talk about it with them. But if you just say high elo players as a general, who do I go yell at? Do I go yell at Bike?
No.
Like you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from?
Yes.
Okay.
I just don't know who the low elo players just said that. I guess it.
I
hasn't
do, but
happened.
I'm not calling people out. I'm not.
I know. I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
experienced it.
Why
and
am
I
I?
just think
Bike isn't even here. Why are you adding Bike? I don't even think he's here. Bro's
because
calling.
I'm like, because I'm like, I
funny.
guess well known in the community. I don't know. I think that might be it. I know a lot of people here, but I don't know about others.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Anyone else want to come up? Let me see. Let me show of hands. Sarah. All right. Come on up, Sarah. Can you move down, Alex?
Oh, oops.
All right, check.
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you. Yes. Go ahead.
All right, beautiful. I mean, I guess this kind of touches a little bit on what Alex was saying, but it's like nobody has the right to ever be mean to anybody, whether it's a try hard game or not. Like try harding shouldn't be, hey, it's all high elo players going at it. No, try harding means everybody's trying to win no matter your rank. Like if you're a low elo player and you miss a clutch, you miss the clutch. High elo players miss the clutch all the time. It doesn't matter who you are. You shouldn't be talking to anybody in a derogatory manner. Doesn't matter the situation. Period. But it does become a lot of frustration, at least for me personally, when we have people like, for example, the game that we played last night, the last game in Split, that was awful. I wanted to DQ halfway through the game because it's frustrating when you kind of have to play through like a game where people just feel like they're trolling all the game. That's something that just becomes insanely unfun.
So I wasn't in this game. Can you give me an example of what you meant by they felt like they were trolling?
Yes, you were. You were in that game. That was the game where Minnie told you to retire.
Or what?
That was the game where Minnie told you to retire.
Wait, people were trolling in that game?
Yes.
I honestly I didn't feel like that. I'm gonna be real. I didn't feel like anyone was trolling in that game.
Okay, so he was just
I
mean,
think
but
people
don't
were just performing bad. I didn't think anyone was straight out trolling though.
No, I don't. It's not that. It's like again, it feels like what I was saying earlier. Like it's a mentality there. Like you can't have somebody get to run into a main die and they be like, hey, why are you guys helping me? It's like you are overfeeding. I cannot help you, and that makes generally a bad experience.
Okay.
Like somebody that is in quotations like trolling. It's just like going to key, not actually trying to coordinate anything with the team, and then turns around and is like, hey, what the hell is wrong? Like that makes a bad experience.
So the problem that I have with that is, yes, I agree autopiloting is bad, but like let's say that it was a low elo player doing it. Would you consider them trolling because they don't know better?
No, I would
So
actually
where do I
consider
draw
them
the
not
line?
knowing better.
Where do I draw the
When you have
line of
some,
not knowing better?
I mean, would you say that an Ascendant 2 player doesn't know better?
I mean, the problem is probably not. I would probably not consider an Ascendant 2 player as not knowing better. But that is very subjective, and I can't draw the line subjectively.
It's also true.
Like, do I say, oh, they're below plat, so they automatically don't know better? Like, where do I go from they're autopiloting because they either don't care and they're trolling to they're autopiloting because they don't know better?
Okay, but you can autopilot and still make the right decisions. Like that's not the point either. Because
Okay,
anybody
that
can
makes it
make
even
that call
harder.
and
Where
then
then
anybody can make
then
a
where do
bad
I
call.
draw the line at the autopilot? Of like walking in and just dying because I don't know better versus like walking in and dying because I don't care about the game.
I mean, that's the hard line to draw, but that there's also the other part of it that is not even I feel like that is not even the biggest issue in that scenario. It's like cool, you overheated, you didn't know better, it happened, you died, that's fine. But don't turn around and say, hey, why didn't anybody trade me? Like that's where
Okay,
it's not okay.
and I'm fine. I'm fine with that specific example. I think that's more of like a malicious intent. I think the point is malicious intent. Someone said that earlier. I don't remember who said it. But someone said malicious intent, which I think like I'm fine with determining if you can send me a VOD of it determining malicious intent. The problem is how do I determine malicious intent if you don't send me a VOD? If the whole team says it, but then what if it's like going back to the click thing of what if it's 4 people who are really good friends and they just don't like that person? Like I'm thinking of ways of how do I write these into rules that I can verify and do stuff about.
I mean, that's something that definitely requires a little bit more thought. Like, it's not something we come up with on the fly.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But
Sorry,
it's
I
something
am
that I at
very
least
heavily playing devil's advocate because I have to with the rules.
no, and you should 100%. I agree with you on there. But I'm just saying, like, from a lot of at least the internal circle of people that I'm friends with in the
Mhm.
server, we all feel kind of the same.
Yeah,
Where it's like that type of experience just makes you not want to play
yeah,
in-house anymore.
I agree. All right. I am gonna move you down, but thank you.
Yep.
And we will talk more about that later. Where's the movement? Oh, there it is. Moved audience. All right. Who I saw Jinx. Jinx had their hands up. There it goes. Come on up. You have the floor.
Hello. So as a low elo player who only plays late night queues, really, um, rules really go out the window for the most part.
Mhm.
Like one of the big ones is using party chat to talk to each other mid game. And as a low player elo, I have to try
Yeah.
to make any kind of difference in the game. And so when people are just talking and like over party chat where everybody can hear it and I have to try it, it's really distracting and hard to play.
Mhm.
Another thing is high elo players in late night queues will sometimes call each other out to just fight one lane.
Mhm.
And it's just 1v1s the entire time. They intentionally tell their team to fuck off and go somewhere else while these two high elo players just fight like 1v1 every round. Which, I mean, yeah, you can say they're trying to win, but at the end of the day, it is a little bit of throwing because they're saying, "Hey, don't don't mess with this fight. It's just me and him. If you do, I'm gonna yell at you." And I don't have video footage of people saying that exactly, but I do have video footage of this actually happening. But I mean, it's late night. It's
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
That's the only reason I don't put stuff in.
Okay. So I'll reiterate it because this is kind of on the point. Even if you do not have a VOD, at the very least, let us make a note of it. I think like Tired said, part of our problem that we are having as people making these rules is that I can see you talking about it in chat a lot, but I don't know who to talk to about not doing it because I don't know who it's about. I don't know how to fix it because I don't know how much of a problem it is. Like it is being talked a lot about, but it seems like it's people having problems with random people. Like I can't like mark it down as this is how I can deal with it because we don't know enough. I would have rather at the very least if you have a bad in-house and you see X player and X player spent the entire game trolling by, which I would consider it trolling if you spent the entire game just 1v1ing in a 5v5. Like you going and knife fighting and playing like MVT trying to get five people trying to knife. It is a little troll, but I wouldn't go as far to like ban about it, like create a ban about it. It's a matter of at the very least I see that it's these two players. If I see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people making mod mails about it, I'm going to do something about it. But if you're just randomly talking about it occasionally, why would I want to do something about it? Because it just seems to me like it's the occasional person, and they're all talking about different people, and like you can't pinpoint it down to how do I deal with it because I don't know who to even talk about it with.
No, I understand that. And I guess from now on, I will at least mention it in a
Okay.
mod mail. But
Yes,
like,
please do.
it's it's just late night stuff. I normally don't care because it's like it is late night. People are just playing to play at that point. They're not sweating. They're not tryharding. It's not troll games for the most part, but people are just playing the game.
Yep.
And sometimes it is how it is.
Mhm.
But that's really the only issues that I have. I haven't had too many issues where, as a low elo player, playing late night, which is mainly diamonds and above, people talking down to me because I am a lower ranked player. So that might be just a daytime thing.
No, I think it's been a pretty big sentiment I've heard from a lot of low elo players that I am going to address. It's going to be part of talking about this. Is there have been a lot of low elo players coming to me and saying, "Hey, I feel talked down to as from high elo players," and I don't think they realize they're doing it is part of the problem because a lot of the low elo players. If everyone I'm we barely pop again. No, I agree, but we'll figure it out anyway. But part of like a lot of the low elo players is the fact that they've been complaining about that, and maybe they don't know they're doing it. But I would like everyone here who is highly low to kind of take a second and think about it as, hey, this player could be either new to the game or they don't know a lot. When you are talking to them, bring that into consideration. They're not playing tier 3. This is in-houses. A lot of these players may not know better. And that's also part of why I brought up when we were talking to Sierra about how do I put the difference between it being a autopilot issue versus I don't know better because they're a low elo player, because there have been a lot of things that I think I've seen people talk about that could be attributed to a low elo player because they just don't know the game as well as you do. And so what you see as troll, they think is okay because they don't realize that it's troll because they don't know better. All right, I am gonna move you down, but thank you for coming up and talk. But yeah, that's the big thing. I understand, Rose, why it could look like witch hunting, but I would much rather you mod mail and I go and have a conversation with that person about, hey, I heard some stuff about it. It seems like you have a bad attitude. Is something wrong? Was there something in that in-house that made you be that way? Than just straight up banning. Like, I'm not just gonna straight up ban someone because you come and talk to them. I'm gonna go have a conversation with that person first and be like, hey, we want to make this better. I don't know what happened. But yeah, no, agreed, Kit, of kind of creating that culture of learning. Is I would rather go and have a conversation with that person and be like, hey, I think we need to talk about this and figure out why you have this attitude coming towards other players. Oh, the who snitched? No. All mon mails are anonymous. I will not tell you who. If anyone on the mod team says who mod mailed, I will remove them from the mod team. Respectfully, I'm not having that. Yeah, I think that's a sentiment all of us have. Sorry, give me a second to read through everything, and then I will bring someone else up. Oh, if that is, I'm gonna be real. Do we have a show? Yes, I can do that. That is absolutely something we can do. We also talked about potentially rewriting the rules because a lot of them were based on the Hooge server, and we don't know if we have the same values as the Hooge server. Like, there are a lot of them are similar, very similar, but there are some rules that, like, we were having a discussion that we were talking about rewriting them fully. They were just brought over as like a temporary thing, and we never got around to fixing it. So we're probably looking to rewrite the rules, because it seemed like there was a sentiment of some of these rules just don't apply to us, and we don't enforce them because they don't apply to us. Yeah, I agree. 2 seconds. I gotta go rogue. Oh yeah, I got you, Sing. Is your hand up? Yep. You were next in line anyway. Come on up. I will give you your 60 seconds.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi everyone. First of all, I know we all enjoy in-houses, but just for the sake of it, even if you have played for a long time until today, I would like suggest all of us to go read the rules once more,
Hmm.
because the rules, because even if you're a high low player, low player, we tend to forget. Just read the rules once more. Don't don't hesitate to mod mail about any kind of behavior you see. Also, there is uh, the thing we talked about earlier about subjective mod mails. It does not matter if you think it's subjective or not. Just go talk to mod mail. If they think it's subjective, they'll find out with the person who they will talk to, like at the end of the day. For example, you think X person behaved badly in a match. It's subjective to you, just mod mail it. Don't think about it. Mod mail will take care of talking to the X guy as to what was going on. Secondly, like if there is a high low player, for example, ascendant, and they overheat uh, and die, if there is a pattern of them doing it every single round, sure, you can mod mill them. However, if they do it like if if they're autopiloting, even if it's a sweat game, it could be because they're tired, they worked the whole day. Y- Be mindful of that as well. These things are very subjective. We cannot ask people to queue into a sweaty in house with top form, ready to play. I have warmed up for 30 minutes doing DMs. No, we can't do that. Sweaty in house means you're going to try your best, even if that's not your main agent, but you're going to try your best. You're going to implement what you know about the agent. That's it. This is very subjective. You cannot ask of you cannot think like that. Hey, that's basic. Why does not he know that? Why does he swing there? Because he does not know. There is many things. I myself, as an ascendant player, struggle to play in a team situation when teams are pushing together. Why? Because I usually play alone as a sentinel, and that is a weak point of me. If you see me doing that and say, hey, this guy is a high low player, he should know how to swing with people, that is not a thing that can be done. I'm trying my best, so please be aware of that as well. Like, we can these things are very subjective, and we need to be like a little more, what do you say, giving, like forgiving to people. Be a little forgiving. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Singh, for your thoughts. I think a lot of us are in the same agreement. I'm gonna move you down. Oh, what's up, Rafi? I moved the wrong person. Sorry, Zon. Whoops. Yeah, Rose. I literally can't do anything about
Damn.
it. I cannot. That is a Discord issue. There's nothing I can do about it. We have done everything I can do to let you be able to see that channel. I have no clue. Outside of going and sending a request to Discord to fix it, it's just a problem of you have to show all channels. Like, I can't do anything about that. You blame Discord for it not working. That's like, unfortunately, I can't. I literally can't do anything. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to come up before I? Oh, yep. We got Mini Moth and Turn Up. So Turn Up, you're first. Hello, Turn Up. You got your 60 seconds.
Hi. Okay. We've had a lot of things people don't like. I want to highlight two things I really like just to make sure that they don't get lost in the weeds. I love the low elo queue. As a low elo player, I have struggled in the all elo queue a bit. I think the rank mismatch is tough. So I wanted to thank you all for continuing the low elo queue. They're great. I can't speak for everyone, but that's my take. The second thing is, and this is in light of your talking about maybe rewriting the rules, is I very much appreciate the call that we've had in the past to keep behavior quote unquote business professional. It's nice to have what I would call like usually guaranteed more normal welcoming experience that are the sort of respectful interaction that I would expect to see in any other aspect of my life. So I appreciate that. But then to Sing's point, I want to make sure that that is clear to everybody, and I'm not sure it's front and center in everybody's mind when we're queuing for the in-houses. So to second Sing, I wonder if there's a way to have the rules more visible to players as we're joining the in-houses. Yeah, anything to clarify from that?
I think, like Rafi said, a good idea would be a quick TLDR of the rules every time the queue pops, as like it will just drop in the queue chat. Here's a TLDR of the rules, so everyone knows. I think that was. I don't think there was any problem with that. I'll have to figure out how to do it, but I'm sure it's not that hard.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you team.
Thank you for talking.
Houses are great. Busy with Underpeel stuff. But we'll be
Yeah.
back to the low queue later. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. All right, let me move you down. I'm gonna let Minimoth talk, and then if you want to jump up, Kit, to talk about the idea.
Yo,
Welcome.
I was reading the notes,
Mhm.
and I'm curious, like, do the tryhard and sweat queues like need to be like a certain day or time?
So that
Can-
was a question we were going to pop with the queue, that you can just decide on that queue what kind of game you want. But we were also looking for specific event days as well. That would be like if we were doing exclusively a high elo in-house, the assumption going into the high elo in-house that we will make obvious is that this is a sweat queue. It is a high elo in-house. Everyone is most likely going to be sweating, and so that is the assumption going into it. Versus like a low elo in-house could be a high sweat, but is entirely up to, do we want a high sweat queue one day and a kind of vibey queue another day? That's something we will discuss. But that's you can absolutely have high elo non-sweat stuff. Whatever kind of game you want, but the emphasis that I've gotten so far about the high elo in-houses is that they want a queue that is sweaty.
I think there is an audience of every rank that wants the sweaty queue.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, that came across wrong. I'm there will be sweaty, low in as well, but there also are. It wouldn't be a queue, Sierra. It would be an event.
So for like open queue,
Mhm.
would there be something like where you can choose what kind of like queue it would be each game?
For we can all actually learn and play the game. We'll talk about that. For just we were talking non-events, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like every day.
So for non-events, that is entirely up to that queue. There will be a question in every single queue pop of what kind of game you want to play. And the comm right now is you follow whatever the decision of the majority is.
For sure. Appreciate it.
All right, no worries. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Appreciate you, G.
Oh, awesome. Playing into a low elo. I mean, so I think that's a bad sentiment, Grass. I think saying that when we actively have underappeal where players could learn from each other, where there's coexistence of high and low elo players, that's not a great sentiment. You see where I'm coming from? All right. Kit, did you want to come up and talk about that, by the way? The idea is, what was it? Highlight a different rule for every. That's pop. Okay, I wasn't sure. So probably not with the highlighting a different rule each one. It would have to be the same ones, and I think it should just be like a TLDR of it that you can read real quick if you don't know. Also, it's nice to have, because let's say you break a rule and you don't know better, they can say, well, it's in the queue channel. Yeah, there's no, I forgot. Correct. Which it would include the rule that says, if this is what we're all agreeing to, which I will put out a poll for, I'm not doing it right now though, of if I'm not looking at the notes. Give me a second. If we agree that follow the comm is what we want to do, then there would be part of the rule that says follow the comm. And if you say, well, I didn't know better, it's in there right there. That you have to follow the comm. That doesn't necessarily mean your level of sweat has to be the exact same level of sweat as Zon. Like me and Zon's, like whatever the follow the comm is whatever the decision is made via that vote. So let's say the vote that game is heavy vibe, it would be everyone's trying like 70% or 60%. Whatever you would consider your vibe. Now, some people may think you have different ones, and that's fine. That's something I can't really deal with. This would be okay, it would be I'll show you. Q-pop. What kind of game? Player balance map choice. That would be how the questions work. Like the order. So it would go before even player balancing. So you can't say, oh well, it's because this specific team I'm not gonna try. You don't know the teams before. Also, I think there was a fairly high amount of people that wanted to move away from balancing via the bot and move back into balancing via in-game, which I hate to break it to you, you can already do. You literally just hit player choice. Then vote for it. Start voting for it. I don't know what you want me to do about it, Rose. Then tell people to vote for it. I don't make the standard. Y'all make the standard. Just tell people to vote for it. But I don't know if removing the option is great. I'm fine with swapping the place of the buttons. Or rewording it. What difference does it make? Some people may not want to use auto balance in game. Oh, let's get over it. Okay, I'll make a poll about it. How about this? I will make a poll about removing the button. How about that? Are we fine with that? Yeah, set a hot. I can't really think it'd be closer. I'm fine with rewording. I will make a poll. How about this? Let's. I don't want to try to get spammed about a button. I will make a poll about whether we leave it as it is and y'all just create the standard by voting the way you want to vote, rewording it, or removing the button. All right, we have 15 minutes, and I don't think anyone else... Yeah, no, does anyone else want to come up and have their 60 seconds before I move on? Because I only have a little bit of time. Should I prefer the bot? I don't believe so. But I think everyone just chooses balanced. Which I think is wild because people complain about auto balance and then vote for auto balance. But that's just me. And that's fair. I don't mind moving it. And that's why I will create a poll. Zon, please make a note that I have to make these polls. I'm not looking at it. You have
already put in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Notes.
Thank you very much. It's green. It's the norm. It's first. Wording makes seem unbalanced. It's faster. All right, that's fine. There will be a poll. I think that will solve your issue of y'all can decide. Okay. All right. I don't want to keep having this conversation when we've already come to a decision of how we will deal with it. Anyway, there was one other thing because we only have 15 minutes. I have to run in 15 minutes. So I'm trying to get this over with so that we can have this done before I have to go. Okay, so the final thing is this is part of trying to get, because it doesn't look like anyone said anyone. No requests. Okay, cool. Part of the earlier announcement about the mascot is I also kind of want to talk about what kind of values people think the Underpeel should have. When you think of the Underpeel and you like consider like a mission statement, like when you're thinking of the Underpeel, what are some words that like come to mind about like what you want to see out of the Underpeel? Inclusive, okay. Positive teammates, okay. Community driven. Okay, so when you say inclusive, can you give me more of... Sorry. Can you give me more of an idea of what that means to you? Like when you say inclusive, like everyone can play, like what specifically does that mean to you? It's not just for wait, pause. It's not just for the mascot. This is, yes, it is involving the mascot, but it also involves how when we make rules and we're thinking of the Underpeel. When basically the point of it is when I am making a rule and I'm talking to Tired and I'm talking to Shark Bay and we're sitting in our meetings and we're talking about the Underpeel, what does the Underpeel mean to the players? Also being slightly tweaked. Yes, we're always working on the rulebook to try to make it align with these values as well. Anyone can win? Okay. I think that kind of plays into our play like a pro. Like right now, the big thing that like the sentiment we have is the play like a pro. It isn't the exact same. Yes, I'm aware, Rose. But yes, it's the anyone has the ability to be a winner, essentially. That is so big, it's hard to put in words. Okay. Can you try your best? Because, like, I think I know what you mean by inclusive, Turnip. But, like, I don't want to assume what you mean. That's, like, the biggest thing is we're trying to move away from assuming what the community wants to, I want you to tell me what the hell you want. Because we've made a few decisions that people haven't liked because we have assumed, okay, buddy, don't, no. Because we have assumed what y'all wanted and it wasn't the same thing. Also, if you want to come up and talk about it, you can absolutely come up and yap about it. Go crazy, turn up. If you want to come more on it, you can come up and talk about it. All right, you got your time.
Okay, I'm kind of like, I was trying to write it out. We have originated as the offspring of an aggressively rules-based and inclusive. Like, no, we are not going to tolerate this behavior. Yes, anybody can improve. No, you can't be sexist here. Like and there was, there were I know that there were mixed opinions about that, but the fact is that it has created a space that is one of the most welcoming in the Valorant community. From like, I've been in Galorants, I've been in some Boomerants is a thing. I'm also in Boomerants. Everywhere's got drama, but I I really appreciate that about this community, and I don't want that to be lost because it feels really safe. So that's kind of what the thought is. And then also, as a low elo player, I feel like we've been able to find a good bunch of ways that we can kind of learn from each other, and so I've also appreciated that. And I would be sad if that aspect was lost too. This is
Mhm.
the low elo perspective.
Yeah, I definitely do want to bring back. We talked about like having the low elo, and I think it kind of got overled by the fact we had Underpeel start. I do want to get back into that, so I
Oh
will
yeah.
be reaching out to like the low elo people and trying to figure out when we can do that,
Hmm.
because it seems like everyone wants Sunday, and I can't do everyone on Sunday.
Yep. Well, yeah, and the rules based part, I have to think a bit more about how to express that, but I'm not sure if you're catching what I'm trying to put out here.
Right, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Also, kind of interpretation with others since yeah, I agree, Chess. No, I do I understand what you mean. And I think that's like part of what we're trying to do, and that was what I was thinking originally before you came up
Yeah.
here. Oh, thank you, son. Streams are available, not always contentable. We'll have in and off stream events. But I think we've kind of all come to the same conclusion. I think that's the big thing is a lot of us agree, but when we were having these conversations before about trying to make it as inclusive as possible, we were all on the same page, but we were all having the same ideas, but not on the same page. So I'm glad we had these because it is us getting on the same page. It seems like a lot of the people talking about these in-houses have the same thoughts, but because there's so much discourse, it's hard to make sure that all of the discourse is similar. When it is similar, you just don't realize it because it's kind of being overshadowed by a few people who may be in a disagreement with specific things, and because they're constantly doing it, you don't realize how many more people agree with you than you know. I think I worded that properly. I hope so. I like events on stream because they bring people. Yeah, no, I agree. We're definitely gonna have more events on stream. It's more of just a matter of figuring out when we can do it. Such overheard every game and reflects that. Yeah. All right. We have about 5 minutes. I'm gonna move you down, turn up. Thank you for coming up. There was no one else in queue, right? I don't think I saw anyone else. Okay, no. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, we got about 5 more minutes, so if anyone has anything more specifically talking about the values of Underpeel, that is the big thing right now. These last 5 minutes is I want to talk about when you think of Underpeel, what is the first couple words that come to mind? Because I think a lot of us are on the same page about that, but I'm curious if anyone has any other thoughts of like when you're talking about Underpeel to someone who has never heard about Underpeel, how would you explain it? Yep, go ahead, Zon.
Okay. When I first started Underpeel and the Underpeel in houses and the Hooch Court, it was a very chill environment, but people were there mostly to learn. It was mostly people learning. I will be real here, and we definitely it feels like we've gone away from that. It kind of felt more instead of it just being for learning into having fun, kind of went to this is a coordinated environments, but not that coordinated, and we got away from that learning environment in general, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But I think when the people switch having that expectation, it brought a lot of bad manners and bad attitude that necessarily people I don't think people realize they are doing. So when we're in these in-houses, I just want people to be a bit more mindful of what they're saying and be a bit more mindful of who they are speaking to. Just please. Not everyone will play the same. Not everyone's going to be the same like manners, attitude wise, whatever. Just have a bit more grace. If you're a higher elo player and you see a low elo player mess something up, ask if you can help. They ask if they want help with something or if they want some advice before just saying it. If you're a lower elo player, don't expect advice from higher elo player. Please always just ask. A lot of the issues that we have right now can really just be solved if people just talked to each other in a way
Real.
that is not infuriating.
Real.
Please just have some grace. I get it. Valorant can be frustrating. I've had my games where I really don't want to be playing it, but you don't have to ruin the experience for others. That's Vice Real. Bye, chat.
All right, and I guess one more question. Also, if any new people have, like people new to the server have kind of an idea, I would love to hear of what they think of RNPL as it currently is. But I think, like my last question before we wrap this up, it's in notices. Is if you're gonna explain, I'll answer in a second. If you're gonna explain Underpeel to a new person that you want to join, how would you kind of draw them in? Like, what do you think is the drawing factor to make you keep coming back to Underpeel, aside from it being organized? I like typing micro. Over here, I got scared because of the atmosphere being there. No. You're not a dumb no name. No one is a no name. I want to hear your thoughts. That's the point of this. But also, I do want to point out that if you feel like you are talking to a high elo player and they are making it hard for you to want, or you to be able to just play the game, that is something you should probably mod mail. So it was fun and cool in the server. Yeah. The Who server? Yeah, I don't think it's exclusive to either server. I think I've seen, as someone who has been playing in these in-houses since June of 2023, I have seen it across both. It happens sometimes. I think it's less of like a community issue and more of a few people who play a lot, and so it feels like it happens a lot more. But also, if you see it happening, you should probably be telling us about it, because if it's constantly happening with the same person, I will go and have a conversation about them and tell them to stop being an asshole. Even if it's just a one-off thing. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you feel like something went wrong in a game and it could be mod mailed, even if it's something as slight as someone yelled at you one round, make a mod mail about it and just be like, hey, this only happened once, but I did get yelled at. I will go have a conversation with that person. I will not name your name. We will just have that conversation, be like, hey, look, we were trying to make this a better experience for everyone. If it was just a matter of you having an off day, please don't do it forward. But if the same person keeps getting pulled aside, we'll do something to deal with it. Because here's the thing, yeah, exactly. There's a track record of little things. Because if you're doing a little thing every single in-house, and it doesn't feel like it's big enough to mod mail, but it's little enough that you are feeling frustrated about it, it is not little enough that it's not worth a mod mail. Correct. That's exactly what Tyre said. Yep, you're good, Rafi. Oh, have you been yapping? Retaliation should be punished as well. When you say retaliation, what do you mean by that? Like, exactly what do you mean? This, yeah, I agree. Yep, that. I think that's a problem that people don't mod mail enough. I think we've had like Tyre said, we've had like 5, maybe that mod mails about in-houses, but people keep complaining about people being assholes. If someone is witch hunting about a mod mail, that is significantly worse than them being an asshole in houses, honestly. Because if you aren't willing to follow the rules, we're gonna have a problem. And B, if you're gonna go and talk shit about someone because they want you to follow the rules, I genuinely don't want you to be in this community, respectfully. I don't want you to feel like when you are playing an in-house that you can't follow the rules. That's not someone I want in the community, respectfully. Like, yeah, for real. Change the header to mod mail more. We want that inclusive community, and if people are witch hunting, then I don't want them part of the community, respectfully. Like, you're just not what we want. I have to add the respectfully. Disrespectfully, you're an asshole. Respectfully, I don't want you to be here. Have you realized that I've gotten this from a disproportionate community, even who did it? Yeah, no one's gonna say anything. With all due respect, which is none. Yeah, but it's a lot easier to deal with witch hunting than deal with you being tired of. I can't say tired without thinking of the just tired joke. It's a lot easier for us to deal with witch hunting than it is to deal with y'all not wanting to play because you feel like people aren't following the rules, because you're not mod mailing about it. It's a lot easier for me to go and have a conversation and be like, hey, look, I just want you to follow the rules, man. We're trying to make this be fun. Like, we're trying to have fun in these in-houses, and you're not following the rules, than it is to hear y'all constantly saying, oh, well, people, high elo players, like, I think I'm gonna be real. I think the the low elo sentiment of high elo players are being mean to us is very common, but it's not talked about enough because we just don't like I know it's happening. I don't know by who. I have no clue who's doing these. I haven't seen it personally, and I'm gonna be real. I don't think a lot of the high elo players know that it's happening. I need to know. Like, I need to know specifics so we can have these conversations and be like, hey, look, it feels like you're talking down on these players. Can you please be a little more respectful so that this doesn't happen? Like, it goes back to there's not enough mod mails for me to know that it's happening. See, this is my point. Like, I think Rafi is probably considered one of the high elo players. I'm not saying that you're doing it. I'm saying you're considered one of the high elo players. We don't know what you mean by that. Like, are you calling them bad? What is happening specifically? Like, I need these specifics, because if you have a lot of specifics happening, I can have these conversations and be like, hey, this behavior, you may not realize it, but it is disrespectful. I agree. Yeah. 100%. Call them out on it. Yeah, it's not modded. It's not added because we changed the mod mail bot. Just vibes. I can't make a rule based on you not liking someone. Unfortunately, that's not something I can do. But, like, if you're being a dick, that's one thing. But yeah, correct. I can't deal with interpersonal relationships. There's nothing I can do. Is being dick to one of us, I can guarantee it gets shut down really fast because we have a relationship. Correct. Yes. I agree. Thanks. Yeah. But, like, if you are I know what you mean, but, like, it's still, what do I do about it? Like, if you just can't play well together, I can't do anything about that. If they're talking down on you and saying like, oh, I don't expect you to be able to win this fight. Yeah, I'm aware. Is on wherever. If that's another thing, but if, like, yeah, I don't know. It's going back to the autopiling issue of where do I draw the line. All right, I do have to end this. A lot of this is kind of parroting the same thing. Mandatory. No, I'm not. I'm not doing a mandatory survey. Respectfully, I'm not doing that. Anyway, I do. It would be nice, Turnip. I'm not. No, I know. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't. Like, it'd be nice for me to have. I'm not making players do it. No survey. Yeah. Anyway, I do. Like I said, I gotta run. Without any electronics for 3 weeks, Hoy would die. Let's be real. All right. I'm ending the recording.